You're listening to the Tech Alliance podcast. My name is Marina.
And I'm Andrei.
Today, we're going to review the Strategic Alliances Fieldbook, The Art of Agile Alliances by Gavin Booth, Nevin and Jim Whitehurst.
Finally, if our listeners remember, and I remember, we reviewed the Strategic Alliances Handbook by Mike in the first season. And the Fieldbook is a logical extension, but didn't take a long time. I don't know exactly how many years, but a fair few years for him to get to it. And as far as I understand, while the handbook focuses on theory, the Fieldbook is about the practical application of the knowledge.
That's what I like about the Fieldbook. It's not a short recipe for success, but a solid guide for experienced strategic partner managers. It was published in 2022, and I assure you, the info is up to date. It was written as the answer to the rapid changes in the economy. And as the book says, today the executives are looking for faster ways to conduct digital transformation. The old approach, when forging a solid alliance and hit the market and scale, took years. But today, timing is everything, and you have to build alliances as fast as possible. And the paradox is that building them takes time.
Well, if you are one of the faithful subscribers to our channel, you will have heard by now some of my musings on one of the top challenges in the field of partnerships. You will hopefully not be surprised, therefore, how these two are related. Check out the back catalog. If you are working in a huge old-fashioned enterprise, maybe thinking about digital transformation or going through it like many companies are right now, and if you're looking for ways to build successful partnerships faster, it feels to me like the Fieldbook is the book for you.
And I must say that the book is huge. In contrast to the partnership economy we reviewed in a previous episode, the Fieldbook requires much more time to read and think.
So if you're comparing it already to the partnership economy, how do they compare? What's the difference for you?
Well, I think that although both books cover the current situation and recommend efficient frameworks, I would say that the partnering economy is targeted for those who are new to partner management, and the Fieldbook is for pro managers.
All right, fair enough. Well, I hope our listeners have leveled up since they've listened to our previous episode. And let's dive in. What's under the cover?
Well, first chapters contain a comprehensive analysis of the current situation on the market, plus the description of the major actors, professional services companies and tech companies and their comparison. Then the authors introduce the blueprint, a framework to partner a professional service and a tech company and guide the reader step by step through building a successful alliance. The last chapter is a contemplation about the future of partnerships.
Well, I guess you and I are not trying to cover the whole book in a great amount of detail, and I feel like we do certainly recommend people to read it. Let's share some of our most interesting takeaways.
Okay, so I want to mention again that the book teaches how to build strategic alliances fast. And these fast-growing alliances are called Agile Alliances. And these Agile Alliances are a vital part of changing economic landscape. There are 4 principal drivers of the change. The explosion of tech startups due to easier access to venture capital funding, the increasing returns to companies which leverage technology. Tech companies are incentivized to ensure that their product is adopted, and the appearance of competition when the edges of partnerships are blurred.
But why now? Why do companies want to partner so much right now?
Well, of course, because it is cost effective. And it is cost effective because alliances help improve coverage. Well, by increasing market penetration through combining audiences of both partners. Also, they increase capability by joining forces in expertise and build high levels of trust by providing a proven track record.
The book makes it clear that agile alliances are a new must for companies to survive. That's a bold statement, I would say, no?
Yeah, and what I like about the book, the authors give excessive details on almost any case. Like the part where they describe vendors, tech, and professional service companies is a detailed guide. Any case, any situation. Are you in an ecosystem? Are you going to launch a joint sales campaign? Are you going to recruit a partner? Are you looking for metrics to manage an alliance? How to budget an alliance management group? And so on. Any question is answered there in a concise and clear manner. Have a problem building partnership? Just take the Fieldbook, have a look into the contents, and find the description of your situation and what are the best practices to deal with it plus case studies. Well, for some parts.
Let me ask you this. Who do you feel this book is for? Is it more for individual contributors in partner management, or is it for C-level or in general for leaders of partnerships organizations?
Well, I think that the book is for managers who work in huge old enterprises, which used to work in old ways. For example, if you got used to build partnerships in old style when it takes a lot of time and you have a very long pipeline. So the book is for you because the book teaches how enterprises can build partnerships in a very fast way.
Okay, I love it. In my opinion, at least the way I perceived it, I found it helpful for one. And probably even if our listeners don't find themselves in one of the more traditional companies that haven't fully undergone digital transformation, the challenge of agility, or rather the challenge of achieving agility, it's a very pertinent challenge for any type of company, including those that would like to think of themselves as very digital first and very modern. So, you know what, in my opinion, maybe I would say it's for several types of companies. Maybe they would find them useful differently. And if you're a leader in a partnership organization of your company, I would say definitely pay attention to the field book and maybe also make sure that your teams, even if they don't have to all read it from start to finish, become familiar with the core concepts and advice provided here. Because you just mentioned, Marina, the blueprint, right? A best practice model. If you have a question why partnerships needs a methodology at all, here's the answer. In most aspects, running an alliance means a lot of repeatable movements which have to be transformed into a transparent, well understood and workable process. And having a framework is like having a map to your treasure island. I mean, well, is there anything more precious than that? If you don't have to reinvent the bicycle, then yes, a nice framework can help to save your time. And I have to remind you that blueprint is the logic continuation for the VST model from the first book, the handbook, right?
And the treasure is your time. I could describe the VST model very quickly. The first phase is to define your point A and point B. The second phase is called skills, and it's about how to get to the point B, of course. And it includes planning and resourcing. And the third phase is trust. And it's, did we get to point B? And if yes, how can we move further? It's about measuring success and growing. That's it. That's the model.
And if you like to dig deeper, there's a plethora of case studies at the end of the part. And a list of supporting tools and materials. I mean, you know Mike, he's an academic, keeps your trust and delivers on the expectations that we have from him.
And to dig deeper means really deep, because there are about 150 titles.
Well, let's talk about the blueprint itself.
Right. The framework implies an alliance lifecycle, which consists of 6 steps. It reminds me of a Scrum lifecycle. You know, agile best practices for agile alliances.
Big surprise, right? I wonder where he got that from. Let's take a look at the steps. Number 1, validate the market. Number 2, design the partnerships. Number 3, enable sales and delivery. Number 4, originate and pursue the actual sales. Number 5, contract and deliver. And number 6, improve. Again, the logic is simple. At first, we evaluate the opportunity and the idea to partner. Then we design, prepare a business model, tools, scorecards, GMT plan, and so on. GMT is go-to-market. When you are ready to execute the plan, the work between partnership management teams begins.
That's the hardest part, where everything can go wrong.
As Marina and most of our listeners know really well, everything can go wrong any stage of any process. So I wouldn't be too pessimistic about this. Luckily, the field book describes the most common mistakes and how to avoid them as well. The next part is about contracting and delivering, with a great cheat sheet for paperwork. If you constantly get lost while drafting terms, preparing SLAs, approving contracts, there you can find short and clear answers. SLAs, by the way, service level agreements.
When the work is done, or when a crucial milestone is over, it's time to move to the next step, improve. It implies assessing the results. Of course, it's not enough just to say the work is done. Authors suggest using quarterly business review and customer satisfaction programs. QBR is about identifying if the goals are met. However, the book does not provide a specific QBR template. because they say that there are a lot of varieties of QBR, and the advice is to use those which are built around scorecards, capability build, and sales enablement, and showing status as well as the direction of travel. What do you think of it?
If there's one thing I learned about QBRs is that the key to successfully using them as a tool for a partnership is to be aligned on both sides on what needs to be in them. So it's not just about, hey, which type of QBR we need. It's before you have it, before you hold it. Make sure that you're on both sides, you have the same understanding and the same vision of it, because you can have the best idea, but if your partner or partners actually have a different vision, the QBR as a tool will be less efficient for you. The second part of the improve step is the customer satisfaction program, which helps to evaluate if the customer expectations are met. So to say, if the product of our collaboration actually makes the customer happy.
I do remember when we were partnering Google and Mail.ru Group, we also evaluated partner satisfaction score. Do you remember?
Don't remember what exact questions we used back then, but I would say it's an ongoing practice. Like with QBRs, like with all of this, I mean, a QBR is probably an element of this. Ideally, you would have some sort of a partner satisfaction survey before, so you know which areas to address. The challenge for me is to find the time and the energy to put these tools in place and the motivation to follow through and continue doing them on a regular basis, right? And actually address the issues that surface from them. It's the only way you're going to get any value out of them.
You said about it's so hard to find time to use correct tools. I think that's why frameworks are great, because they help you to stay on track, because all tools are listed, all processes are listed, and you just go like in a pipeline.
Yeah, you're right. I think frameworks, there's also this concept, I think, just the same thing by a different name. There's the concept of playbooks, when playbooks most often relate to the process of identifying and establishing partnerships. But I think we can extend it a little bit further to having playbooks for conducting and managing the partnership itself. So I think framework is seriously useful.
Okay, back to the book. Let's quickly revise the idea. If a company wants to succeed in a modern world, it has to learn how to build partnerships fast and at scale. And that's the trick. To build a partnership, you need to build trust. And to build trust, you need time. If you want to build many alliances in a fast and efficient manner, you need a framework. The Strategic Alliances Fieldbook explains the current picture of the business world and suggests nice models to follow. Plus, a huge part about what is going to happen with alliance development in future.
And that part is so huge and fascinating that we decided to discuss it with the authors.
Right. In the next episode, we are going to ask Gavin Booth, Nevin and Jim Whitehurst about their points of view on the future of strategic alliances. Don't miss the episode. Subscribe right now.
The Fieldbook is long, but it is worth reading for professionals. If you're short on time, you can skim through the contents and look up the description of your current situation, check what you can do in a more effective way. And if you first read the Strategic Alliance Handbook and enjoyed it, you will certainly enjoy and appreciate the Fieldbook a lot.
If you haven't read it yet, you can listen to our review in the season 1 of the Tech Alliance podcast. Links are below.
Let me remind our listeners, we reviewed the Strategic Alliances Fieldbook, The Art of Agile Alliances by Gavin Booth, Nevin and Jim Whitehurst. Many thanks to all of you who are still with us. We hope you enjoyed today's talk. Please subscribe, find us wherever you get your podcasts from. And don't forget to follow us on LinkedIn and YouTube to stay tuned. The links are indeed below.
Catch you next time on the tap.